Hey familia, Miranda here, and today is the last day of November, which means that Criterion month has come to an end. So what better way to end things than to share with you guys my entire Criterion collection. Now keep in mind, I barely started collecting Criterions this year when the Criterion website had one of their flash sales, because there is, I guess, like 4 times in the year actually that you can get Criterions for half off. I don't know why you would buy them any other time, but yeah, so Criterion site, they do 2 flash sales. They did one back in like March, they did one in October, and then of course the Barnes & Noble sales in July and November. So plenty of times during the year to get some Criterion, but yeah, I honestly kind of had no interest to start with in collecting Criterions because of, like the price and stuff. And I'd heard about them previously, but I just really, like I said, didn't have much interest at the time. But the Criterion bug bit me, and so I jumped on the Criterion train, and let me tell you guys, there ain't no jumping off. Once you're on, and you are hooked. So I actually have a little over 40 titles in my collection already, which is pretty insane for this being the first year that I've actually started collecting them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a couple of oddballs that I have, and then we'll get into the films that I have seen, and then the films that I haven't seen. So the first title I have is actually a DVD Criterion, and that is The Royal Tenenbaums. I'm sure a lot of people have probably also found this out in the wild. Found this at Goodwill. I don't remember if it was like the very couple first months of this year or if it was like last year that I found it at Goodwill for $5. It's a DVD Criterion. I'm not gonna pass it up because everybody was always talking about Criterion and I did not have any in the collection, so I wanted to go ahead and pick up the DVD. Obviously I have not watched this yet, but if I like it I may upgrade obviously to the Blu-ray, but for now I have the DVD here of The Royal Tenenbaums. So I thought that was technically the first Criterion in my collection, but not too long ago I was actually kind of shifting some things around and I noticed that this film was also a Criterion, but what makes it an oddball is that it's packaged in a regular Blu-ray case, and that is The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, but you can see it is a Criterion, you guys. Why it's packaged like this, I have no idea. That's why this whole time I've had this in my collection and I didn't even notice it until I kind of went through things and stuff. So yeah, why it's packaged like this, I have no idea. I'm curious if I were to actually order it from like the Criterion website or from like Barnes & Noble directly, if it would come in like the regular like Criterion packaging or if it would still come in the Blu-ray case. Why it's like that, who knows? But yeah, so I have this one. I have seen this one, you guys. It's been a long time since I've actually seen it, but I did enjoy this one, and it's just a kind of interesting concept. So moving along to the films that I have seen. Now, keep in mind though, I have not necessarily watched every single one of these on Criterion yet, but they are films that I have seen. So you guys saw this one in my recent haul, Eve's Bayou. I love this movie. It is fantastic. If you have not seen it, you definitely need to. It was one I watched time and time again over on BET back in the day. But yeah, just great performances throughout, and it's a great story. I highly recommend this one if you have not seen it. Then I did go ahead and watch Night on Earth. I actually really enjoyed this one. It's kind of like an anthology in a way, because you do get 5 different stories that supposedly take place like the same night, but they're like happening like all over the world, and it's basically cab drivers with their fares, and it's just kind of interesting. Each story was just so different, and like each cab driver was so different, and the people riding the cab were so different, and I really enjoyed this one. There was a couple of them that the stories I kind of preferred more. I forget which ones they were and where exactly, like what cities this took place in. But Winona Ryder, she's actually in the first story in this one. And then there's a bunch of other familiar faces that honestly you wouldn't really like know them by name, but you've seen them in other things. But yeah, I enjoyed this one, so I would highly recommend you checking this one out. Then I did go ahead and obviously I've seen Love and Basketball like a gazillion times because this is one of my all-time favorite films. I just love Omar Epps and Sana Lathan together. Their chemistry is fire, and the just mix of basketball and like romance in this film I thought was so perfectly blended together, and this is definitely one of my favorite films of all time. Then we have Ghost World here, which I enjoyed. This was kind of interesting. It was kind of a unique film. Thora Birch, obviously she stole the show. She was really good in this. I mean, ScarJo as a friend, she was all right. I didn't necessarily love her in this film, but Thora Birch, she was amazing. And Steve Buscemi was also really great in this. And his awkward relationship that he had with Thora Birch's character in here. But yeah, it's an interesting, I don't know if you really want to kind of consider this coming of age, because I think the girls are actually like in college or something like that, or like fresh out of high school or whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed it though. It was good. All right, so next up we have Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. This is a role of Forrest Whitaker's like I have never seen him in before. This was very interesting. I mean, he's like this hitman, but yet he's this really kind of cool, like nice, sweet, laid back kind of dude. And he just has these beliefs that he goes by based on, you know, like the samurai ways and stuff like that. So it was interesting. I enjoyed it for what it is. I won't say I necessarily like loved it, but I did. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. And I just thought that this was a very, very interesting role for Forrest Whitaker. I thought he was very, very good in this. But yeah, I would say definitely check it out though, because it's interesting. So next up is this film, Pariah. I absolutely loved this film, you guys. I highly, highly recommend this one if you have not seen it. But what I loved about this film is the realness of it, because this is, so the topic at hand is basically the trouble with this girl coming out, you know, like to her family. Like obviously her friends know that she's a lesbian, but her family doesn't. They kind of have an idea that she is, but she doesn't really want to, you know, tell them because it's just, they don't accept her for like who she is. And that's all she wants, is to be herself and whatnot. And so it's just, it's kind of a hard matter, definitely, for sure, to watch this. Because, you know, not all the time are families accepting when those kinds of, you know, conversations and stuff come up. But it is something that so many people in today's society battle with. And so I just thought that this was a very well done film, you guys. And I just thought it was definitely heartbreaking at times, especially like the last 5 minutes. I was just bawling my eyes out, you guys. But I really, really enjoyed this one. And I just thought that the portrayal of the matter at hand was done so beautifully. It was just very, very well done. So highly recommend this one. Next up is Y Tu Mamá También. This is like Mexican cinema at its finest. I've seen this so many times, like back in the day. Probably should not have been watching it, considering, you know, all of like the sexual content and just the whole zesty, spicy love triangle going on in here. But it's about these, you know, two teenage boys from Mexico. They go on a trip and they meet this Spanish woman. And so they pretty much, between the three of them, have this kind of desire and love and whatnot happening there. So it's a really good one, you guys. I highly recommend this one. Okay, and obviously Wall-E, one of the newer releases. You guys saw that I hauled this. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet here on the 4K Criterion, but I have seen this film, and obviously I love it. So next up is Funny Games. So actually, I kind of went into this one with a bit of like higher expectations. I'd heard lots and lots of good things on this, despite it being a messed up film, which honestly to me, yeah, it was messed up, but it wasn't like the hardcore brutalness that I was thinking it was going to be. I hear the remake is okay, but if I didn't really enjoy this one very much, then I probably won't bother even checking out the remake. Because yeah, it was okay, but I did not love this as I thought I was going to. It just didn't live up to my expectations. Like I said, it does have some messed up parts in it, but it just wasn't the insaneness that I thought it was going to be. I just thought it was going to be super brutal and just like hella messed up, but it just wasn't exactly that, but it was okay. Then I did just watch 12 Angry Men, you guys. I don't want to really get into this one too much because I will be talking about it here soon on my next episode of First Viewing. But yeah, this movie is phenomenal. I don't know what took me so long to see this one. I'd always heard awesome things about it. And yeah, it definitely lives up to everything that I've heard on this film. It is just fantastic, you guys. So 12 Angry Men. Then we have Inside Llewyn Davis. This one, I really enjoyed Oscar Isaac's performance in this. I mean, yeah, his character was kind of an ass, but overall, this is a really good film. And it's just the whole time setting of this film and the music in this film is just super awesome. And I enjoyed the heck out of this one. And then this one, I would say, is kind of what really sparked my first purchase for Criterion. This is a film that I first watched back in like 5th grade, I want to say it was. And this film just kind of like stuck with me over the years. I mean, I've always kind of been fascinated by the story, and it just kind of was always in the back of my mind. And so when I saw the Criterion had it, it was like one that I immediately had to scoop up, and that is The Elephant Man. Like I said, this is a pretty fascinating story. It is definitely heartbreaking at times, considering, you know, everybody considered him to be a freak. And, you know, he was made fun of a lot and everything. But there were nice people who, you know, wanted his well-being and who saw past, you know, his medical condition that he had. And so, yeah, there were some nice people in here and everything, but it definitely was sad at times, especially the ending. Oh my goodness, you guys. But I really enjoyed revisiting this film, and this is definitely one, like a staple that everybody should have in their Criterion collection. The next one I have here is Eyes Without a Face. I thought this one was actually pretty good. It's not scary, but I get why, you know, obviously it's considered a horror film. I'm sure that back in the day, so this is from 1960, so I'm sure that back then this was definitely a scary film to watch. Like in today's like society and like physical media world, like it just isn't scary, you guys. It's kind of a crazy thing to think about, yeah, because basically there's this dad, he's a surgeon, and his daughter suffers an accident that totally like mutilates her face. And so he goes around like killing girls and like trying to like take their face from them to put on his daughter. So it's kind of a trip, you guys. But like I said, it's not scary, but I'm sure it definitely was back in the day during its time. But I did enjoy it. So next one I have is Pink Flamingos. You guys, this is some hot trash. Oh my goodness. This is probably one of the raunchiest films that I have ever seen. It is so freaking inappropriate and it's just so gross. But it's like so good at the same time. I don't know. It's just, it was one weird, disgusting movie. Pink Flamingos, you guys. Then we have Marriage Story. I absolutely freaking love this. ScarJo and Adam Driver both delivered some amazing performances in this, and that whole argument that takes place in the living room, it was just epic. And I don't know what it was about this scene where Adam Driver is singing that song in the bar, and I don't know if it was maybe just the words got to me somehow or what the heck, but that scene completely wrecked me, and I don't even know why. But yes, both of them were just absolutely amazing in this film, and I really enjoyed this. Next up is The Ice Storm. This is one that I just recently watched. So you guys will be seeing this again in my next episode of First Viewing. So I won't really get much into this one. But yeah, The Ice Storm, it has a nice cast, you guys. And it honestly really wasn't exactly what I was expecting it to be, but I did enjoy it. But I don't know if I'd really necessarily recommend this one because I didn't really love it that much, but I thought it was okay. So we got The Ice Storm. Double Indemnity, you guys. This film is seriously like perfection. I absolutely love this film, and I just really enjoyed how everything played out. It was kind of intense. And so yeah, definitely need to check this one out if you have not. And this is the 4K, you guys. Then we have Hoop Dreams is one. It's been so long since I've actually seen this film, but I do remember always being a fan of this film. I love me, you know, anything basketball related, basketball movies, I'm so down for. But yeah, Hoop Dreams is a classic, and is another one too that I think should be in everyone's collection. All right, couple more here in the films that I have seen. So we have The Princess Bride. This one was also a must for the collection. For anybody's Criterion collection, you definitely need this. It's a nice little kind of like digibook type thing. And, you know, The Princess Bride, it's classic. I've seen it like a gazillion times. Never get tired of this one. I've always been a fan of this film. It's just one that I grew up on, so it's definitely a favorite. So The Princess Bride. And then last but not least from the films that I have seen, this one, Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom. This movie is nasty. It's definitely disturbing, you guys. There's just on so many levels, on so many levels, you guys. There's just a lot going on in this film, and it was just an interesting but very disturbing watch, you guys. And if you're not good at handling things that have to do with like poop, you don't want to watch this, trust me. I will never see a like silver platter the same way again, you guys. But yeah, it's definitely very disturbing, very gross, and yeah, I wouldn't recommend this one, but at least I got this out of the way. I don't plan on watching it again anytime soon. Like I said, I'm into any kind of films, you guys. no matter how disturbing. But yeah, this one was pretty gross, and yeah, it's not one that I would recommend, but you know, at least I saw it. I can say I did. So got it out of the way. Okay, so moving on to the films that I have not seen. There's actually quite a bit. Actually, I'd say it's more like half and half. But anywho, of the films that I have not seen, you guys, let me know your thoughts on them, if you guys like them, which ones I should jump on first. So let's go on ahead and get into the films that I have not seen. All right, so first up, My Own Private Idaho. This one I've heard so many people rave about, and simply for Keanu Reeves and River Phoenix, definitely, you know, one that I've been wanting to check out. It's been on my radar for a bit, so have that one to still watch. Then we have A Deep Cover, which is one that I've always heard great things about. Seen so many people talk about this one, so I need to see about watching that one soon. Then we have The Devil's Backbone, which this one actually, I believe, came recommended from Stephanie over at Movie Chatter. In one of her videos that she might have done on like horror recommendations, or might have been on one of her episodes that she was on John's channel. But yeah, The Devil's Backbone, I've definitely been curious about this one, so definitely need to see about checking that one out soon. And we have A Devil in a Blue Dress. I know, surprise, surprise, it's from the 90s, but I haven't seen it. So definitely looking forward to that because I do love me some Denzel. Come and See, I hear, is actually quite brutal. So definitely looking forward to this one. And then we have Blue is the Warmest Color. All right, so next up, you guys saw this in my recent haul, and that is Brighter Summer Day. It's just one that kind of really caught my interest. It is a long one, close to like 4 hours long. But basically there's this kid, and he's like this kind of like innocent kid turned delinquent. And so yeah, just sounded interesting, so I want to go ahead and check it out, but I will definitely need to kind of be in the right mindset for this one since it's so long. Then this one too, looking forward to this, Arsenic and Old Lace. And also Shortcuts. This one is just a bunch of intertwining stories, which I love, so that's why I got this one. Can't wait to check it out. This one I've heard nothing but amazing things about, so I definitely need to get to this one soon, and that is Ikiru. I think that's how you pronounce it. So cannot wait to watch that one. And then this one too, everybody's talked about this film, has raved about this film. So looking forward to watching Bringing Up Baby. Next up, we do have A Ride with the Devil. This one too had been on my radar for a bit, so finally picked that one up in my recent haul. I've been meaning to check out this one, Okja, I think that's how you pronounce it. It just looks kind of interesting to me, so yeah, definitely the storyline seems interesting, so still need to check that one out, as well as The Virgin Suicides. And One Night in Miami. This one has just an amazing cast, and I don't know what I've been waiting for to watch this one, so I definitely need to get on that one. And this one, I don't know, I guess the artwork just kind of caught my interest on this, and so I just wanted to go ahead and pick it up. But the story does sound actually kind of fun, so but it is Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Kind of an interesting title, but we got that one there. And also Me and You and Everyone We Know, which I am still in freaking disbelief that I found this at Dollar Tree, you guys. Insane, insane, insane. But that was like definitely the find of a lifetime for me. So I do need to check this one out though. I've actually heard some good things on it. Few more here, and so we have Shaft, which I have never seen this version or the 2019 remake. I've only seen the other one, which I forget what year it's from. I think it's like from the 90s, right? But yeah, so I haven't seen this one, but I will definitely be checking it out at some point. And then I also have this one here, Hunger. This one is it's a film by Steve McQueen, and it has to do with this like hunger strike. It is based on a true story. So it definitely just kind of caught my interest for the simple fact that it is a true story. But even the story at hand is just kind of interesting. So need to check that one out. And last but not least, The Picnic at Hanging Rock. This is one that I'd had on my radar for like the longest time ever. It was like one of the first ones I added to my wish list. Finally decided to go pick it up this last round. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. So that is all of the titles that I have in my collection, you guys. And so I do actually have the Sound of Metal 4K coming. So I will have that one in the collection too, because they finally changed the ship date on that from like a month and a half out to like a week. I was like, okay, I can wait a week for it. I just can't wait a month for it. So I do have that coming, but I don't have that to share, but it will be here like in the next couple days or so. So yeah, that is my collection, you guys. Let me know some of your favorites that I've shown here, which ones I need to jump on that I have not seen yet. And yeah, you guys, I love Criterion, you guys. I am like so on board with the Criterion stuff now, and I couldn't be happier. And I'm looking forward to, you know, scooping up more titles here in the future. I really need to get to watch into some of the ones that I have not seen, but I still have like over 100 on my wish list, you guys. It's insane. I go through the list like quite frequently, like all the Criterions and stuff like that, and I'm always finding and like adding new titles that just kind of sound of interest. And also like having watched like everybody's, you know, pickup videos and stuff, I'm always adding from people's recommendations and stuff. So list gets quite long. I will eventually at one point pick them all up. Like I said, there is 4 times in the year that you can get Criterions for half off. So, you know, 4 chances to add more Criterions to the collection. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.